Hello and welcome. Tonight, we will take a long, gentle journey together through the story of the greatest inventions of humanity. Inventions that changed the course of history. Inventions that shaped how we live today. As you listen, let your body relax and your thoughts drift calmly with the flow of the story. Imagine each invention not as a sudden moment, but as a slow discovery, a gentle unfolding of human creativity across thousands of years. Our story begins in the deep past, long before cities, long before kingdoms, when our ancestors were simple wanderers, moving across the land in search of food and safety. The first inventions were not grand machines, they were tools made of stone. Picture a group of early humans sitting by a riverbank, striking one stone against another until sharp edges appeared. Those edges became knives, scrapers, and spear tips. Suddenly, the world opened in new ways. They could cut meat from animals. They could scrape hides for clothing. They could carve wood for shelter. Each tool was a step toward survival, and each tool carried the quiet intelligence of the human mind. Imagine holding one of those ancient stones in your hand, rough yet purposeful, chipped with care by someone who lived hundreds of generations before you. Even this small stone was a miracle. It was the beginning of technology as we know it. As time moved forward, another discovery lit up the darkness: fire. To imagine the first fire is to imagine wonder itself. Sparks flying from a stone, or flames taken from a lightning strike, carefully nurtured into life. The glow of fire transformed human existence. It gave warmth on freezing nights. It gave safety against predators. And it made food easier to digest, healthier and more nourishing. Families gathered around the flames, their faces glowing with orange light, telling stories, singing songs, or simply watching sparks rise into the sky. Fire was more than survival. It was community. It was comfort. It was memory. The hearth became the center of life, and from that moment, humanity was never truly in the dark again. With fire and stone tools, people spread across lands, but survival was still uncertain. Then came one of the most powerful inventions of all: agriculture. Around 10,000 years ago, humans began to notice patterns. Seeds planted in the earth would grow again if cared for. Water, sun, and soil could be guided and controlled. This discovery turned wanderers into settlers, nomads into villagers, fields of wheat. As writing spread across the world, another invention quietly shaped the destiny of civilizations: the discovery of metals. Imagine the first time a human found copper in the earth, bright and shimmering, unlike ordinary stone. When heated in fire, it softened and flowed, and when cooled, it hardened into shapes sharper and stronger than flint. Soon, copper was blended with tin to create bronze, a metal tougher and more durable. This was the dawn of the Bronze Age. Weapons, tools, ornaments, all crafted with care. Bronze axes cut wood more swiftly. Bronze plows broke hard soil. Bronze swords gave rise to armies stronger than ever before. Then came iron, darker, heavier, yet far more powerful. Villages with iron tools could farm more land. Kingdoms with iron weapons could defend more territory. The age of empires was written in iron. With every strike of the blacksmith's hammer, sparks flew, and with each spark, humanity forged new possibilities. Yet invention was never only about survival. It was about beauty and expression too. Artisans carved statues, built temples, painted walls.
But all of these creations needed a way to endure, a way to be remembered. This is where paper entered the story. In ancient China, people discovered that as paper and printing carried ideas across continents, new inventions began to change the balance of power among nations. One of these was gunpowder, discovered in China as a mixture of saltpeter, charcoal, and sulfur. At first, it was used for fireworks to dazzle the night sky, but soon its power was turned to weapons, rockets, bombs, and cannons. Thunder echoed across battlefields. Walls that once seemed unbreakable crumbled before the force of explosions. Armies no longer fought with swords alone. The age of castles gave way to the age of gunpowder. Yet alongside it, another invention shaped exploration, the magnetic compass, also discovered in China. It allowed sailors to find direction even when the stars were hidden. With compass in hand, ships crossed oceans vast and endless. They carried traders, explorers, and dreamers across the seas, and the world which once felt immeasurably large began to shrink. Cultures once separated by oceans now met in trade and exchange, sometimes in harmony, sometimes in conflict. The compass unlocked the map of the world, and with it, humanity's horizons expanded even further. Then came a machine that transformed not just travel, but life itself, the steam engine. In the 18th century, inventors like James Watt perfected engines that harnessed steam's pressure to drive pistons. Since the beginning of time, humanity has been shaped by invention, from the earliest sparks of curiosity to the great achievements of science and technology. Every invention tells a story of struggle, of wonder, and of progress. Tonight, we will take a calm and gentle journey through the history of great inventions, a journey meant not only to inform, but also to soothe you as you drift into rest. Imagine yourself lying back, eyes closed, listening as the story of invention unfolds before you in a soft, unbroken flow. Our story begins thousands of years ago with the simplest yet most powerful of discoveries: fire. Imagine the first humans gathered in darkness, cold and afraid. Lightning strikes a tree, flames leap into the night. At first it is terrifying, uncontrollable. But slowly they learn to keep it alive, to feed it with wood, to carry its embers. Fire brings warmth against the chill. It cooks food, making it safer and tastier. It keeps wild animals away, and it lights the night so people can gather together. Fire was not just survival, it was community. The first invention that changed the rhythm of human life. With fire came the spark of civilization, but people needed more than warmth. They needed tools. The first stone tools, chipped and shaped into sharp edges, were the earliest technology. A stone blade could cut meat, carve wood, scrape hides. These tools seemed simple, yet they were the beginning of craftsmanship. With each strike of stone on stone, early humans learned to shape the world with their own hands. Then came one of the most important inventions of all, the wheel. A circle of wood that could turn endlessly. The wheel changed everything. It carried loads across distances. It became part of pottery, helping shape vessels for storing food. It later powered carts, wagons, and chariots. With the wheel, humanity began to move faster, farther, connecting lands and people who once seemed so distant. But invention is not only about tools and machines, it is also about the mind and the power of communication. Long before books, long before paper, humans invented writing. Marks pressed into clay, symbols carved into stone. Each mark held meaning. Names, records, stories. Writing allowed knowledge to endure across generations. No longer did memory fade with age. Now ideas could travel across centuries. From Sumerian cuneiform to Egyptian hieroglyphics to the elegant characters of Chinese script, writing was the invention that gave humanity history itself. With writing, the voices of the past could still be heard today. As writing spread across the world, another invention quietly shaped the destiny of civilizations: the discovery of metals. Imagine the first time a human found copper in the earth, bright and shimmering, unlike ordinary stone. When heated in fire, it softened and flowed, and when cooled, it hardened into shapes sharper and stronger than flint. Soon, copper was blended with tin to create bronze, a metal tougher and more durable. This was the dawn of the Bronze Age. Weapons, tools, ornaments, all crafted with care. Bronze axes cut wood more swiftly. Bronze plows broke hard soil. Bronze swords gave rise to armies stronger than ever before. Then came iron, darker, heavier, yet far more powerful. Villages with iron tools could farm more land. Kingdoms with iron weapons could defend more territory. The Age of Empires was written in iron. With every strike of the blacksmith's hammer, sparks flew, and with each spark, humanity forged new possibilities. Yet invention was not only about survival. It was about beauty and expression too. Artisans carved statues, built temples, painted walls. But all of these creations needed a way to endure, a way to be remembered. This is where paper entered the story. In ancient China, people discovered that pulping fibers from plants like mulberry could create thin sheets, light yet strong. Unlike clay or stone, paper was easy to carry, easy to fold, easy to spread ideas across distance. It became the medium of poetry, of philosophy, of bureaucracy. Scrolls unrolled across palaces, carrying wisdom, laws, and art. Centuries later, a German inventor named Johannes Gutenberg transformed this humble invention even further with the printing press.
But the story of invention does not end with computers and the internet. No, it continues to evolve every single day as humanity imagines new possibilities. One of the next great frontiers was space travel. For thousands of years, people looked up at the stars, dreaming of reaching them. Myths were told about gods and heroes crossing the skies. Yet in the 20th century, rockets turned dream into reality. In 1961, Yuri Gagarin became the first human to orbit Earth, his voice echoing back from space, saying, "The Earth is blue." Then in 1969, humanity took its most daring step as Neil Armstrong set foot on the surface of the moon, saying words that still echo today: "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." With rockets and spacecraft, humanity extended invention beyond the Earth itself. Satellites soon circled our world, carrying signals that connected continents. Satellites guided ships, mapped landscapes, tracked weather, and even allowed us to speak with one another across oceans. The dreamers who once gazed at the stars now became travelers among them. Yet invention never rests. After the rocket came the microchip. Small pieces of silicon that carried circuits so tiny, yet so powerful. Entire computers shrank into chips the size of a fingernail, opening the door to personal electronics, to phones, to tablets, to devices that could do the work of entire rooms of machines. These microchips fueled an explosion of new inventions: calculators, medical equipment, communication systems, satellites. The microchip became the heartbeat of modern life. But invention did not only move outward into space or inward into circuits, it also looked within, into the human body. Medical inventions have saved millions of lives, from the discovery of vaccines that prevent deadly diseases to the invention of X-rays that allow doctors to see inside without cutting open the body, to antibiotics that turn once fatal infections into treatable conditions.
Every leap forward in medicine has changed the balance between life and death. Consider the first vaccines pioneered by Edward Jenner, who discovered that exposure to cowpox protected against smallpox. This discovery alone eventually saved millions across the centuries. Jonas Salk's polio vaccine brought hope to children across the globe. The discovery of penicillin by Alexander Fleming opened an age where infections could be fought and lives spared. Machines like the MRI scan reveal the hidden structures of the brain, the beating of the heart, the inner workings of muscles and bones. Pacemakers help hearts keep steady rhythms. Prosthetics give new strength to those who have lost limbs. Glasses and contact lenses sharpen sight. Hearing aids restore sound to silence. The story of invention is as much about healing as it is about building. Yet invention is not only in medicine or machines. It is in how we create energy, how we feed and sustain ourselves. After the age of steam and coal, humanity turned to oil and gas, fueling cars, planes, and factories. But the invention of renewable energy systems promised a cleaner path. Wind turbines turning gracefully in the sky, solar panels